Okay, so enough about dermatomes and shingles, and now let's talk about receptors. And this is where this class gets a little tricky, and especially in the textbook, especially in the Martini version. So they use the term receptors pretty interchangeably between two different uses of this word. So receptors, they detect something in general. So both types of receptors detect something. So in this chapter, actually for the rest of the semester, we'll be typically talking about sensory receptors in terms of cells. So when you hear this term sensory receptors, we're typically referring to neurons in the cells. So there's a receptor cells and there's cellular receptors. So when you hear the cellular receptors, we're typically talking about proteins that are in or on cells, sometimes called like things like cell membrane receptors that detect chemicals, or you actually have something called nuclear receptors or cytosolic receptors that detect also chemicals as well. But again, neurons are typically, so it's either talking about cells or it's talking about proteins. So this first one right here is what we'll be talking about pretty much 99% of the time for the rest of this semester. But again, what do they have in common? Receptors detect stimuli, detect changes, they detect something. So whenever you hear the word receptors, it's detecting something, but you should be aware and think to yourself before you proceed with your readings or your studies. Are we talking about cells or are we talking about proteins? And we're talking, which level are you talking at? The big scale or the smaller scale? So again, this is what I'll be talking about most of the time for the rest of PHYL 141. Okay, so now let's talk more about these sensory neurons, aka sensory receptors. So this is actually, I like to say sensory neurons, like I'm typically, when I say sensory neurons, I'm usually talking about sensory receptors. But again, when I'm talking about neurons, I'm talking about the cell level. So this is why I'm usually referring to when I say sensory neurons in these lectures. Okay, so then exteroreceptors. So what do they detect? Well, extero sounds like exterior, right? The outside of something. So things like our sense or our various senses or various ways we detect touch, or things like pain, pressure, or temperature, or even vision. These are all signals we get from our outside environment toward and feel. These are all signals we get from our outside environment. So these are all perceived by sensory neurons we call exteroreceptors. Now, interoreceptors, what's the interior? Well, it's the inside of something, right? So these are signals and sensations we get from our inside. Like like how full are you right now? Are you thirsty? How full is do you have to go to the bathroom? Is your bladder full? Or are you hungry? I mean, these are all internal sensations. So interoreceptors, these are able to detect things inside your body and cause these sensations. And there's another category of sensory receptors called proprioceptors. Now, these are very interesting because they're very important for your overall sense of body position, balance, and movement. But we will get to proprioceptors very shortly. Now, let's rewind a bit and get back to exteroreceptors and interoreceptors. So remember, these are all sensory, so they're all detecting things from either outside or inside of your body and carrying it toward your central nervous system. Remember that sad mnemonic when I said sensory, afferent, dorsal? So we have enteroreceptors and exteroreceptors, and look where they're all leading. Even though they might originate from, carry sensations from the back and the side or the internal organs or from the front, notice that they're all eventually ending up in the dorsal root of the spinal nerve. So they are all going dorsally toward the back of the spinal cord. So again, this is why sensory, I use that mnemonic, that sad mnemonic, because sensory, it's all going afferent toward the central nervous system, and then it's going to the dorsal root, the back and posterior root of the spinal cord.